Hey Claire, and anybody else who is interested in the topic of when to wean your baby and what to start with. I'm not sure if you've heard about baby-led weaning, and I'm going to post a link so that you can read a little bit more about it. But this is the method that I recommend following years of doing traditional weaning and giving traditional weaning advice. So the reason we recommend baby-led weaning is because we are literally working with the baby's skill and development and with what they already have. And what they already have around about 4, 5, and 6 months is the gross motor skill to be able to lift things and bring them to their mouth. And you'll notice that everything that they is in their immediate environment they are going to put in their mouth, because that's part of their exploration. So as I said in the video, they don't know the difference between picking up a piece of plastic or a toy soldier and having a tray there with a carrot stick and a little piece of broccoli. Now both a carrot stick and a piece of broccoli are easy for them to pick up and hold, and when it comes to things like carrots and baby marrow and cucumber, you would use a serrated to make it like like a corrugated cut so that they can grip onto it more. Now, the fact that they're picking it up and bringing it to their mouth does not mean that they are necessarily eating it. In fact, more than anything, they are tasting it, they're exploring it, they are drawn to it because of the color, and that's why you want to have lots of different colors there for them to pick up. They're exploring the texture, and they're exploring what happens when they put those things in the mouth. They put a piece of plastic in the mouth that doesn't taste particularly good, and they will generally spit it out. Whereas a carrot or a broccoli or a vegetable or fruit, they can put in, it's got a taste, it's got flavor, it's got different textures, and they learn how to move the bits around their mouth. So something like a banana, they would be taking pieces off and they would be tasting that and moving it down and swallowing it. With something like a carrot, it's too hard for them to do that, so they don't even have teeth, so they have it in their mouth, they kind of sucking it, and they'll probably lose interest in it within minutes, and that's fine. You're not giving them the carrot to give them food. That's not part of your weaning plan. It is part of introducing them to food, introducing them to color, introducing them to texture. Train's coming past. A very happy train driver. So you're introducing them to color, texture, flavor, and even smells of different fruits and vegetables, and in a way that allows them to have fun with it. So there's not that big pressure, you have to eat your vegetables, you have to eat your food. You're letting them play with it just the same as they play with everything else. And because you're starting from the moment that they are naturally reaching out and being able to grasp, you know that the majority of their nutritional needs are being met by either breast milk or formula or whatever it is that you're feeding. Because what we say in the baby-led weaning community is food before one is just for fun, depending on, of course, how you are feeding them. Round about 6 months, the next guideline you're looking for is their ability to sit unaided. And unaided means sitting on the floor and they are able to hold themselves up with their little legs wide, because that gives them their solid balance, and still be able to look around and reach for things, not in a bumbo seat. A bumbo seat, they are not using their core and they are essentially supported. So you want to be able to put them in either that they're sitting on the floor or that you've got them in the high chair at the table. And this is where it comes to introducing them to food as a social event, because food and eating is a social event. And so letting them sit in the high chair with you at dinner time and watch how they respond. You'll find that at a certain age, usually around 6 months, they will naturally follow, your movements from the fork to the mouth with absolute awe and glee, and literally start drooling and start reaching out. And you want to make sure that you are able to give them either something from your plate or something that you've prepared that allows them to play and explore those textures. And you want to, at that stage, you can still introduce some puree food, but continue with giving them hard bits and food that they can hold and grasp at the same time. So they might be playing with that carrot stick or the piece of broccoli, and then at that time you might have a bowl of mixed pureed vegetables, and in between that you give them a little spoonful. And once again, They already explored the taste of broccoli. So if you've got a puree of broccoli and pear and potato, then that's not a foreign flavor to them. It might be a different texture, but they're comfortable with having things in the mouth, and they're comfortable with moving things in the mouth. The biggest fear that I see with parents when it comes to baby-led weaning is the fear of your baby choking. And this is where I would recommend that you do a first aid course that helps you to manage choking, and you want to do that when the baby is around 3 to 4 months old, so that you feel comfortable with it. And then the second most important thing is, because remember, when it comes to dealing with choking, all you are doing is you are placing the baby over your lap and giving them a hard blow to the back. In an adult, we use the Heimlich maneuver, and your baby, you're just giving them a hard blow to the back to move the food out of their mouth. But you don't want to be continuously giving them blows to the back every time they gag, and they will gag a lot, and you need to get comfortable seeing them gag, because that is their natural gag reflex. It's what they use and what they have in place to prevent them from choking. So choking is different to gagging, and you, at the same time, when you're watching them playing with those vegetables and they're gagging, don't reach out and take it away or grab, give them that startled response, because they respond to your emotions. And I'm sure by the time you have your baby, you're going to realize how much you are mirroring and how much they mirror you. So when they are playing and exploring those tastes and textures and flavors, be as relaxed as you possibly can. You're certainly being vigilant, but when you see them put something in, and they will stick it in to the point where it makes them gag, to be able to sit and watch and notice how they will pull it out, and they may still gag and pull a few faces, but they will immediately reach for it again, which is a healthy response. And you need to get comfortable with that and start learning to trust that they are able to do that. And it's only when they actually choke, so something is now stuck in their throat, that you will need to intervene and give them the back blow. And you want to feel comfortable that you know how to do that. So to summarize, baby-led weaning, which means no puree, no mashing up, giving them whole bits of vegetables, and I'm going to find some information that I can share with you about that they can learn to develop their gross motor skills of grasping, bringing things to their mouth, learning to suck, pull, chew, throw away, explore colors, tastes, textures, and flavors. And then when they can sit unaided, then you can start giving them puree foods as well. And what you give them will depend largely on the way that you are currently feeding them, if that is breastfeeding or formula feeding, and how you're going to introduce those meals. So you can do a combination of baby-led and puree, or you can just do baby-led. But usually by around about 6-7 months, you are starting to introduce more meals, and then in order to get more into them, it's going to be mashed up. And mashed up with a fork is fine, because then you are giving them more texture than a complete puree, which is so really, really velvety smooth. Or a combination of both, so that they do get those different textures. Just like we like soups, stews, consomme, broth, smoothies, and then a good chunky chewable meal. You want your baby to be comfortable with that as well. And this is an important part of their social development, as well as their neurodevelopmental stages, because eating is such a social thing, and eating is such an important thing. You want your baby to eat and enjoy food, and not to have too many food aversions and taste aversions and all that. Let them play and explore, and give them that freedom to do that by trusting that they will gag and let you know. I hope that answers your question, and any other questions, just pop them in.